Jacoby Walter had a relatively difficult start to the season for the Raptors. Honestly, it was pretty underwhelming, I'd say. He was really good in Summer League. He was decently impressive, like enough in preseason for me to think like this could be a real breakout year for Jacoby Walter. But from the start of the season, that wasn't really the case. It felt inconsistent and again, just rather disappointing. But if the last week or two are a sign of what's to come, things are really starting to go in the right direction for Jacoby Walter. And let's figure out what's changed for the player, what that means for the Raptors for the rest of the season, and potentially beyond, and what it means individually for the player and his role on the team. So again, the Summer League performances were rather eye-popping, and it got me thinking like, woo, this is really impressive. Like I'm really expecting a leap from this player now. You know, Grady Dick as maybe like the first guy coming off the bench for the Raptors who started last season. Like maybe that role is going to go to Jacoby. Maybe Jacoby's going to kind of dethrone him for the sort of role on the team. And honestly, like in the last couple of weeks that has happened. Jacoby Walter has been the first player off the bench for the Raptors in a lot of these games. And even in the game where RJ Barrett missed it through injury, Jacoby Walter came in and started against a tough Cavaliers team and did a great job in that role as well. We'll touch on that a little bit more in just a second. From a statistical standpoint this season, I think he's still kind of catching up because there were some games where it wasn't a ton of play time and he was struggling. It's only 13.6 minutes per game right now, and he's only averaging 4.5 points. But the three-point numbers are coming up. He's shooting 40% from the field, from three, and 43% from the field. This is a guy who was a very big recruit for sure, coming out of college, or going into college, coming out of high school, and kind of underwhelmed in his college season with Baylor. There was enough there for me to suggest this was still somebody who could turn into a lottery-picked player, because he did average 14.5 points, but it was pretty inefficient. 37.6% from the field and 36% from three in college on shorter three-point lines. But there was enough talent there and enough size to think that this could be a real 3-and-D man for the Raptors, that I was like ecstatic to see he dropped to 19th for the Raptors. I thought, again, it was a player who had enough talent to get picked in the lottery. We kind of saw those slight inconsistencies shooting in his rookie season, where he averaged 8.6 points per game, 40.5% shooting from the field, 35% shooting from three. Gave him a true shooting percentage of 52. That's not very good, but efficiency oftentimes does come with age. And his per 36 numbers were maybe a little bit better, where he's averaging 14.7 points there, 5.2 rebounds. There were positive signs there. I think the biggest takeaway I had from Walter in his rookie season was that he was an intelligent player. He made a lot of the right reads, and he made a lot of the right decisions. It's just we need to see a little bit more consistency with his shot. Wasn't quite there to start the season, but again, it's starting to come on a little bit more for the player. He kind of broke out in the recent game against I think it was Brooklyn. Yes, it was Brooklyn, where he averaged 16 points in that game, or where he had 16 points in that game, shot 6 of 7 from the field, went 4 of 5 from 3. That was much more impressive. And he was also great against Philly last week, where he had 11 points, shot 4 of 5, 3 of 4 from the field. That's when his minutes started to really ramp up, especially in the start against Cleveland. Now, what was most impressive to me, I think, as much as like the 16-point game against Brooklyn was good, what really impressed me in this 2 of 8 performance against the Cavs, you think 2 of 8, 1 of 5 from 3, that's not very good, 5 points. What was impressive to me was that he was given a very large role in guarding Donovan Mitchell for a lot of that game. Now, he had help. They doubled Donovan Mitchell aggressively, and they were limiting his game, and it was like a team-wide effort to limit Donovan Mitchell's game there. I thought Jacoby Walter did a really impressive job in that game against Donovan Mitchell when it was called upon him to do so. And I think some underlying metrics defensively also show that, he's doing a great job on defense this season. Again, the wingspan's nice for like a 6'5", 6'6" player. The Raptors drafted him, I think, with the 3-and-D potential in mind. on defense, a lot of the underlying metrics, the advanced statistics say that things are going in the right direction. From a shooting standpoint, he's doing quite well there, especially with floor spacing. It gives us different options on offense. Like, you can have Jacoby Walter in the corner as a three-point shooting threat. It opens up space for other players like Scotty Barnes. There are some stats to suggest that things have gone positively for Jacoby Walter this season. And, that's kind of, we're really, I wouldn't say cherry picking numbers. We're really like fishing for statistics to kind of back it up. But I think just from watching the games in the last little while, we've seen an uptick in performances from Jacoby Walter. And I think we're seeing a lot of the confidence start to transpire as well for the player. This is me a week after I was saying, if he doesn't really pick up his game, he hasn't played well this season. If he doesn't pick it up, Jamison Battle has played well this season. Do we start to look at Jamison Battle like the guy who should be getting more of the minutes here instead of him? That was the direction that I was starting to lean. But, credit to the coaching staff, credit to Darko Rajakovic, continuing to give him his game time here. And whatever they've done to kind of work on his game and maybe some tweaks they've made, it started to work a lot more in his favor. And it started to work a lot more for the Raptors. So with that in mind, hopefully we do start to see maybe those minutes increase a little bit more and more, and maybe a role increase a little bit more and more. The confidence clearly is there from the coaching staff. Like, this is like the first guy off the bench in the recent games, or even starting when RJ Barrett is out. And he's kind of taking that over somebody like Grady Dick, who you would have thought the start of the season, well, if anybody's missing from the starting five, Grady Dick is the natural replacement to go into the starting five, especially for RJ Barrett, who operates as like the kind of shooting guard positionally. I wouldn't really put a lot of credence into positions, but, kind of there. It would have made sense for Grady Dick. But Jacoby Walter is definitely coming for those minutes. And in the recent run of games in particular, he has earned those minutes ahead of Grady Dick. So that's an interesting one to follow, because if the offense is there at all and the shooting is there at all, the defense is absolutely better than what Grady Dick provides. And in this really competitive Raptors bench situation right now, Jacoby Walter is the one emerging as earning these minutes for the brief time being. So we'll see if that can continue. If RJ Barrett misses more time, then Jacoby Walter is going to get a lot of minutes like this. He may not close games, because Jamal Shead has done a great job in doing that in the game and a half without RJ Barrett. But still, maybe more minutes are on the way for Walter. So what does that mean for the Raptors? It feels really great if they would be able to have, it would be really great if they were able to have more confidence in one of the shooters coming off of the bench, adding the floor spacing. I've liked Scotty Barnes in a lot of lineups where you have two shooters on the floor. You can kind of camp them in the corner, and then you can have Jamal Shead as a playmaker, and Scotty Barnes has so much space to operate there and can find a lot of success with those minutes. Just adds another dimension here for a team that was kind of lacking floor spacing coming into the season. Wherever we can get that floor spacing from is an extremely welcome sight to see. As for the individual player, look, like start of the year, I would have said, Grady Dick is not safe from trades. Jacoby Walter is not safe from trades. These guys get thrown in, and especially with their inconsistent starts to the season, if one of them is able to find that consistency and make things click, that guy is going to be able to earn a lot more minutes for the team and earn a lot more respect from the team. And it seems at the moment like it's Jacoby Walter taking on that role, and hopefully it can continue for the Raptors, because this is the exact type of player. This is one of the exact type of players we need. 3-point shooting and defense in the two-guard position. Maybe even sometimes playing up as a 3. Stats aren't as good there, but like any player who can space the floor and play defense has a job in the NBA, has a role in the NBA. Raptors have been last year's missing guys like this. Hopefully this can continue. Hopefully this isn't just an uptick and we see more inconsistencies. He is still a young player, but hopefully this trajectory continues for Walter, because I was a big believer on draft night, even before the Raptors drafted him. I was so happy when they did take him. Hopefully that pick does come very good for Toronto.